Everybody, this is Trevor here, and welcome to part 4. And we did this is part 4 of What If Kuwabara Trained with Genkai. And this is where we're going to do the Sensui chapter. And it's going to be a little iffy, but I'm going to try my best not to screw it up. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And I hope I can try the best I can. And if you guys have any comments of what I missed, or the characters I missed on this What If, then I think you guys should put it on the comments below and you guys can tell me. Like and subscribe, and here we go. So Kuwabara was training after the Dark Tournament. He trained after the Dark Tournament, kept on training about his hand-to-hand combat, and he lost his powers. He realized he actually sensed his powers fading, and it's gone, that his powers are gone. And Kuwabara is thinking, what happened to my powers? They're gone. And he realized that they're not gone. They're just, they're like hiding or something. Like they're probably like hiding or being sealed away and like growing. Like Genkai said, it was like an egg ready to hatch. And so Kuwabara goes out with his friend after he was training, and he sees Seaman. Yes, that happens, Seaman. And the same thing happens. He brings out a fight. He lost. He gets engulfed in water. And while his friends are drowning, he starts punching the water. And he realized that he needs to channel his power, but it's not working. And he says, am I not motivated to save my friend's life? I don't know why is it not working? Why is my power coming back? He realized that so he starts punching, and he realized he looked at his friends and realized that he remembers his friends. If they're dying, they're drowning to death, and he realized that if this happened to Kurama, or Hiei, or Yusuke, this could happen to them too. And he realized that he remembers all his friends, and not just that, and he remembers Yukina and all of that. Well, he remembers his friends dying too, his friends that he was spending time with in this series, the original series, and it awake. He kept on punching, and he started punching lightning. And lightning starts to come out of his hands while he was punching it. The next thing you know, he realized that something was bursting inside of him, and he unleashed it. And it actually cuts him right in the cheek. He cuts Seaman right in the cheek. He realizes that he's the one. He's the guy. He is him. He realizes, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. He realizes that, and Kuwabara awakens his new spiritual power. His new powers has been awakened. Much stronger than the original powers he had. Well, his original powers are still there, but they're stronger, combined with the new power hidden boost. Power awakened inside of him, increasing his original powers. And his original powers, he did the same thing. He slices Seaman right in the gut, and doesn't kill him, but knocks him down. And he did the same thing. He picks him up. He says I should kill you, but he realized that if he did, he'd become just like him. And so he picks him up and grabs him to safety. So Kuwabara does. And like he did in the original timeline, he said, I saved everybody. And Kuwabara, Yusuke actually felt that power when he awakened it. But this power was much stronger. He actually said, "Holy crap." He said, "Wow, what is that?" And he actually could feel that power. Like, amazing it was. And it was much stronger than the original Kuwabara. A little bit more stronger. So, after a little while, he realized that he needs to train to control this power. He wants to realize what this power, instead of like in the original timeline, he didn't understand what that power was. He didn't understand what it was. And he realized that he wants to get stronger and understand this new power and increase his powers. So, like in the original timeline, not in the original timeline, but in the Dark Tournament, in the original timeline, when he was in the Dark Tournament, his powers were below average. In this timeline, he's actually really strong. In this timeline, his powers, even in the What If timeline, he's actually much stronger than before. His fighting skills are stronger. He's not like the original timeline Kuwabara. He has actually muscles. He's actually bulked up. He's actually ripped. Yeah, like, that's crazy. Kuwabara is ripped in this timeline because all the training he went through. And he's actually, because of, just like Goku, even though he had a hidden power boost, and he lost his powers, but he got it back. Doesn't mean he's weaker. People say, "Oh, now he's weaker," and just like the original timeline, he was much stronger. He lost his old powers, and no. His old powers and new powers were now one. Like, now they're like merged together. They're now like stronger. It's a bigger spirit. Like, he has power. His spirit power is much stronger. So he probably 2 to 3 times stronger than he was in the spirit Dark Tournament. What If Dark Tournament? Actually, 2 to 3 times stronger than he was in the Dark Tournament. He realized that he needed to learn how to channel that power. So he goes up to Genkai and says, "I want to train. I want to train with you. I want to finish my training what I didn't finish along in the Dark Tournament." And Genkai says, "What took you so long?" He says, "Well, finally you're gonna you finish your training." He says, "Yeah, okay." He's like, "Yep." So Kuwabara and Genkai actually go into the temple instead of getting caught by Sensui. In this timeline, he doesn't get caught by Sensui. Not yet. Sensui actually learns how to, Kuwabara actually learns how to he actually suppresses his power. Suppressed it. So he doesn't have to be noticed. It's like Dragon Ball Z, but with spirit power. He actually can learn how to tap into it and suppress it if he wanted to. Like Goku and Vegeta and all the other guys. He could do the same thing. Like Yusuke and Kurama. Kurama and Hiei and Yusuke can do it. Goku can do it. Vegeta can do it. From Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Even Yusuke and Kurama and all the other guys from another universe, from Yu Yu Hakusho, can do it. But with spirit power. It's the same thing. It's like Ki, but with spirit power. Spirit power is like Ki. It's the same thing. It's energy all around you. So you can suppress it. So you can not worry about it. So genkai helps him train. And he actually trains a lot stronger now. He actually trains even harder. And he learns the spinning fist toward spinning circle punches like he did in the original timeline. Like Yusuke did in the original timeline. Like Yusuke. He actually learns and he actually masters spirit control. He actually goes and he learns advanced spirit control. Really advanced spirit control. And he masters his his hidden power Genkai. And he is much stronger now. I think he's now like 2 to 3 times stronger now than he was in the original timeline of Sensui's time. In the original Sensui timeline, much stronger. He is probably 2 to 3 times stronger, and he is actually mastered his. He mastered all the spirit. He mastered his double spirit sword. He mastered his sword get long and stretch. He learned how to pretty much use it on his own free will. And he mastered his dimension sword, his Genkai Shin, or whatever it was. His dimension sword. I'm going to call it dimension sword. He finally mastered all his spirit swords. And all the training that he got from Hiei from mastering his swordsmanship really helped him. He actually kept on training too with that. When he was before he got this new power, he was mastering his swords techniques with like real swords or like katanas or something, because he was careful. Trust me, he's careful in this timeline. He can use a real sword, and he won't hurt himself in this timeline. So he does, and he masters it really well, and he won't be a bother. Actually, he won't be a freaking not disgrace, but not a he won't let other people get his way. He won't. He just wants to get stronger so he doesn't fail his friends and his teammates. So he got much stronger in his timeline. He's actually getting closer to Hiei and all that. He's getting much stronger. And he mastered his spirit control. And he mastered all his swords. He mastered his double spirit sword, all that. Yeah, like before. He mastered his dimension sword, everything. Now, when Sensui comes, he comes back after 3 months. Yeah, we're gonna do a time skip on this. Yes, this is gonna be a little late. In this timeline, it's gonna be a little later. Instead of in the original timeline that he got captured, it's gonna be a little bit 3 months after. He's actually trained in 3 months. Genkai actually helped him out and got him a lot more stronger, but it's okay. He got much stronger in the time, and he was ready for it. And so he's like, I'm ready to take on the Sensui. I'm ready. No, he's not Sensui. He said, I'm ready to take on whoever gets. He's like, I'm ready. He's like, I'm ready to ever, because there are probably more threats out there. There's more threats out there. And there's more threats out there that could be dangerous. So, Kuwabara realized that he has gotten a lot stronger. a little bit more stronger than he was in the original timeline. Like I think he has, and he is actually Kurama and everybody are impressed that he has gotten a lot stronger still. He is much stronger than he was before. I think he is much stronger, more powerful, and he has got skills. So him getting caught by Sensui, genkai actually, kuwabara actually does it on purpose. And okay, people say, what? Why would Kuwabara, in this timeline, why would Kuwabara do that on purpose? Let me explain. Kuwabara is much smarter in this timeline. He realized that if he got captured, he can power up and let them use him as a beacon to track him, and they can follow him to the cavern where Sensui goes. And then they can take out Sensui. So in this timeline, he does, and he gets captured on purpose. Not like he did in the original timeline. He did it on accident. He got captured because he was weak. Sensui was much powerful than he was. So yeah. But he did it on purpose because he was much smarter. And he realized if he did, and he told him that if he gets captured, follow him. And actually, Kuwabara actually channels his powers, and he did it the same thing he did in the original timeline he didn't, but in this timeline he did. He did it on purpose, and he channeled his powers, and actually Yusuke and Kuwabara and Kurama and Hiei actually got there much earlier, much faster, because his power energy, he channeled it and actually increased his powers, powered up a little bit, increasing it powers. He took out his he actually unsuppressed his powers. He unleashed his full power, and Kurama and Hiei just they all come over. They actually, yeah, they get there, and pretty much everything goes the same thing. They try to capture him, and that guy with the blue hair and eye, and try to trap he and Kuwabara and Kurama in another dimension. Kuwabara smiles and says, "You think this is gonna?" He says, "I have no time for you. You think this thing's gonna keep me in here? I have no time for you. I need to save your Meshi. I need to help your Meshi. Your Meshi and them were fighting with Sensui. Yusuke is fighting with Sensui. Yeah. Yusuke Kuwabara actually unleashes his spirit sword and his free will, and he unleashes it, concentrating, and he actually unleashes his spirit sword, dimension sword, on his free will with ease, and he just slices the dimension and gets out. But Sensui sees that, and he's like, "Oh crap!" But he still kills Yusuke because we want to make sure. And people's like, "Well, why?" People getting upset and say, "Wait a second, Trevor. Wait a second. Why would he still kill Yusuke? Kuwabara would be probably stronger. Should be strong enough to." And he learned how to master his sword and unleash it in his own free will, learning how to control it and use it on his free will, mastering it after those 3 months. Nope. Yusuke still has to die in this timeline, because then without that, there won't be no Masaku. And then that can't continue the story. Without that story, we can't tell the story right. Yusuke has to die so he can be reborn as the Mazaku. So, he does. And we have to do it. I'm sorry. People are like, no! But we have to. But he died, and he comes, and he dies, and Kuwabara is mad. And he thinks of Yusuke's death, and a hidden power awakens in him. Yep, that's right. Kuwabara unleashes and gets a hidden power boost. And so does Hiei and Kurama, and they go on to their demon form, and with the combine of their demon form power, combined with their hidden power boost, yeah, it's pretty much nothing. Yes, and Yusuke comes back to life with the Mazaku, and the spirit squad comes around, and yeah, that happens. But Kuwabara actually puts a dent in puts a little dent in Sensui. Sensui is actually impressed because actually they go to the demon world, and he does Kurama. Actually, he does do the Dragon of the Darkness flames absorbing him, and unleashes it and like pushes him to the demon portal where they go inside. Kuwabara still cuts the dimension cords, and they still go into the demon world where they'll have to face him. But the difference is, Kuwabara is trained. He is trained with Genkai and Yusuke, and his power, his emotions, he is serious. All his emotions, him getting mad, makes him stronger. He is very serious, and that gives him a boost too. Gives him a boost too as well. Because when you're serious, he's really powerful. I'm just saying that because, like in the original timeline, because people say emotion, because Genkai said when you're mad, or sorry, when Genkai, when Yusuke saw that Kuwabara, when Yusuke was fighting Toguro in the What If timeline, he saw how serious that is and made him much stronger. That increased him a little bit. But it's still a good thing. But Kuwabara actually, since we actually gets a little dent in this timeline, a little dent, he gets actually damaged a little bit because you're much stronger. Kuwabara, and then Yusuke comes in and says, "You guys, let me finish what I started. Let me finish." And Kuwabara looks at him like, "You're Meshi, you're alive?" And he says, "Yeah." And whatever that Koenma tells him that he has Mazaku blood. Yep, he has Mazaku blood, which makes him more powerful. He has demon Mazaku blood inside of him, which makes him much stronger. So, yeah. Sensui is actually when and the same thing happens. Kuwabara and Hiei and Kurama go full power, and they get their power regenerator or something. I don't know, they're so happy. They go full power apparently, and they get hidden power boost again. And they go full power regenerated themselves. I don't know. They get happy. And he says, "Go for it." He says, "My power feels stronger." There's like, we did it. Yusuke does what he did, and their powers get fully regenerated, like they did in the original timeline. That dumb, that silly thing they did, and that like, "No, Hiei, I'll do it. No, no, Kuwabara, this guy is mine. And Kuwabara's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna take him out. I'm gonna kill this bat. And Kuwabara is different. He's like, instead of, oh, I'm gonna kick his butt, no, he's like, I'm gonna kill this bastard. And because he's much serious in this timeline. More serious and more willing to fight for what he believed in. Fight for his friends in the world. He's a more serious Kuwabara than he was in the original timeline. So, yeah. So, Kuwabara comes around and Yusuke is like, you guys, cut it out. I started to fight with him. I'm gonna finish it. And he said, fine, then do it for me. And everyone looked at, and Kuwabara's like, then beat him up for, kick his ass for me. And everyone's like, yeah, Yusuke, you go for it. Everyone looked at him like, Yusuke smiles and says, don't worry, guys. I'll beat his ass for you. He said, I'll beat him up for you. I'm gonna make him pay for what he did. Everything. And they do. And Yusuke is just wiping the... Yusuke is putting up a fight, actually. He's doing really good in this timeline. Much better than he was in the original timeline. I think he's a little weaker than he was in the original timeline. I think he's much weaker. I think he's a little bit more weaker than he was in the timeline. I think a little bit more weaker, but not weaker than the original timeline. Just a little bit. He's actually more stronger than this. What if Yusuke is much stronger than the original timeline? Still. So, Kuwabara, Yusuke starts winning, but they go back and forth, fighting each other, and then Ryzen comes in and says, "You're using your power wrong. Let me show you what this demon power can do." And he takes over and possesses Yusuke. Yusuke does the same thing he said in the original timeline. He tries to stop him, and this rising possession is much stronger, too. Well, same power, but yeah. But Ryzen and Yusuke kept on fighting him, kept fighting from the inside of Ryzen. But Ryzen did the final blast, and Ryzen and Kuwabara, Kuwabara, sorry. Ryzen and Yusuke they were fighting, and Kuwabara, not Kuwabara, Yusuke yells at Ryzen and says, "Get out of my body." And he says, "How dare you?" Ryzen says, "It was a vengeance," and he says, "I'm going to show you what your power can really do." And he says, This is not your fight," Yusuke said. And he yells at him like, "Hey, you get out of my body. This is not your fight. This is my fight with Sensui." And Ryzen does the same thing like he did in the timeline. And it does, instead of killing him, it actually obliterates him. There is no body and bones. There's like nothing. He just incinerates Sensui. Sensui is gone. But Yusuke, before he did that, he's like, "Out of the way, dumbass," like he said in the original timeline. But he doesn't. And Sensui dies, gets incinerated, more worse than he was in the original timeline. Yusuke gets sad, and he realizes that he didn't really beat Sensui. Someone else did. And he tells him, Yusuke is like, "What happened?" Kuwabara Kurama and Hiei tells him what happened to you. Like, how do you... I was like, that was like a different side of you. Like, that was not like you anymore. It's like someone possessed you, and he said, it did. Someone possessed me and took control of me. And people, Kuwabara and Kurama and Hiei are looking at each other and like, how's that possible? With his long hair, and you realize, yeah, I don't know. But I'm gonna find out. And Kuwabara and them go home, and Yusuke meets with Keiko and all his friends, Botan, all of them, and Yukina, and they all go home. And that's where they're gonna do the Three Kings tournament. It's gonna start. And that's all I'm gonna. And that's where I'm gonna stop it. And if you guys like this video, comment on the description below, like my videos, and I hope you like it.